game that I'm looking forward to all that much this weekend. Arsenal versus United at the Emirates Stadium this Sunday at 4 o'clock. All the potential to be a really good game, but at the same time we don't go into it in the best of circumstances. A 3-2 defeat against Olympiacos in midweek has certainly hindered our confidence levels going into this game and doesn't leave me in the best of spirits coming up against a very informed United side. They had the 2-1 win against Wolfsburg in their respective Champions League group, and they're also firing on all fronts in the league. Despite a rather shaky start, which included losses to the likes of Swansea away from home, Van Gaal seems to be finding his feet at the club, seems to be working out his best 11, and with Marshall up top, they've certainly got a very prolific side at their disposal. Now, I do worry about Marshall. He's the player that I'm going to talk about first, because we are without Laurent Koscielny for the match, and that does worry me significantly because Koscielny's pace, I feel, would have matched Martial's, and the thought of having not just Marshall but Depay running at someone like Per Mertesacker, his pace is going to be so exposed in this game, and it does concern me quite a bit. Someone like Marshall, if you do want to compare him to Thierry Henry, one aspect of his game that he does bring in that's a bit Henry-esque is that he does run at players a lot. He does to take it around players. Marshall for me is the player to watch in this game, but also Depay alongside him. Juan Mata on that right hand side. They've got Rooney playing in behind. It's a very dangerous attacking line from United, and I think we're going to really struggle to keep a clean sheet in this game. It's a big game for our fullbacks Hector Bellerin and Nacho Monreal. Really think we missed Monreal in that game against Olympiacos, but it's time for the likes of Mertesacker to step up, who wasn't convincing when he filled in for Laurent Koscielny for about the final 20 minutes of the game in midweek. Gabriel, I'm expecting a big game from him. He wasn't all that great against Olympiacos. Basically, the bottom line is everyone needs to step up from Tuesday, because that was unacceptable, and I hope the Arsenal that plays against Leicester turns up in this match, because I really don't know what Arsenal is going to turn up. If we play like we did in midweek, then we've got no chance in this game. If we play like we did against Leicester, then we might get something out of it. It's really down to how our mentality is going into the game. We haven't got the best of records against the big teams, I know that for sure, and we certainly don't have a good record against Manchester United in the league. So, you know, I would hope they would like to rectify that going into this game. Of course, if we're going to take confidence from anything over the past couple of seasons, the 2-1 win against United last season at Old Trafford can give us something to go on. Of course, that was an FA Cup tie, anything can happen in those games, but it was a win against United, a much needed win against them considering we hadn't beaten them for so long, so that's certainly something to take into account. I do think we're going to miss Danny Welbeck in this game, not just because he's ex-United, but I think there's an underlying problem on our right-hand side of the pitch at the moment. We either play Ramsey on that side, who's not an out-and-out winger, or we play Chamberlain, who isn't taking chances when it comes to him. He's had lots of chances now in this Arsenal team, apart from the Community Shield, where he's just not, he's fallen at the first hurdle really, been very unconvincing, hasn't done what he's been put in there to do, doesn't defend particularly well, and hasn't really looked all that great going forward. He's very good at dribbling, very good at taking it past players, but if a chance is going to be given to him in this game, I think he's really got to take it by the scruff of the neck and hopefully put in a good performance for Arsenal. I think we've got to take risks in this game. Definitely, I would alter things in the midfield. One thing I did feel, if we're going to learn anything from the game against Olympiacos, our midfield was bullied by the likes of Kusami, you know, the ex-Fulham player, and they were absolutely running at us ragged in the middle of the park. They were, you know, taking players like Cazorla completely out of the game, completely nullifying our creative talent, just because simply they were bigger than us. And United have got the likes of Michael Carrick, Schneiderlin, players that can potentially do that. So it's important for us to flood the midfield, bolster it. I would definitely play Aaron Ramsey alongside Francis Coquelin in this game. That one's certainly debatable, but that's just my opinion. And although it's a risk, although what I previously just said about Chamberlain, it's a bit contradictory, but I would start him on that right-hand side. I just feel we've got to take risks. Something has to change going into this game, and definitely the lineup has to be one of those things. Alexis Sanchez on the left-hand side, Mesut Ozil through the middle, no doubts about Walcott starting up top, and I think the back four picks itself: Bellerin, Mertesacker, Gabriel, and Monreal with Cech in goal. Of course, I don't want any debacle about the goalkeeper. Cech starts for this game. We don't have two world-class keepers. We have one world-class keeper and one okay keeper. So that's the way I see it. Cech starts in goal, no doubts about that. And yeah, that's pretty much my team lineup. We come up against a very good Manchester United side. I'm not going to take anything away from them. I think Van Gaal is starting to get a good squad at his disposal. They're playing some good football this season. They've got deserved wins in their past couple of games. Not going to praise them too much because, of course, I do want us to go out there and beat them. Their defence is definitely vulnerable. Blind at centre-half, very good on the ball control, excellent pass on him, but in the air, not so great. Maybe Giroud in the final 10-15 minutes can come on and have an impact against a rather short Daley Blind. Chris Smalling, his counterpart, has been very good for United this season. I'm expecting him to give our forwards a tough game, but their fullbacks is where we can definitely expose them. If we do play Chamberlain, like I mentioned, I feel he can punish an out of sorts or out of positions Darmian, who's been excellent for United this season. He'll be playing on that left flank, I believe, for United, who, considering they've lost Luke Shaw, and then they're going to play someone like Antonio Valencia on the left-hand side, who'll be coming up against Alexis Sanchez, And at Old Trafford, Sanchez tore Valencia ragged last season, so I feel that that's one area of the pitch where we can expose them. I'd be very disappointed if we didn't come away with at least a couple of goals in this game, because like I say, it's not the best of United defences, but going forward, they've certainly got a lot of talent and they're not to be underestimated. I do want us to win this game, obviously, but it's going to be very difficult. I don't think a point would be the end of the world, but given what happened against Olympiacos, I feel that anything other than a win is going to be unacceptable. But realistically, a point would still keep us within touching distance of United, which shouldn't be saying that at this point in the season. It's not been the best of times for Arsenal recently. But, you know, our league form is decent. A 5-2 win against Leicester, if we can build on that with a win against United, then that definitely puts us up there. And hopefully we can just forget about that disastrous midweek performance against Olympiacos. But anyway, those are my thoughts going into this game against United. Leave your thoughts in the comments box below. Let me know your team lineups. Like this video if you have enjoyed it. Subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV, as well as my own channel, AFC Game by Game. As always, I'll be speaking to you very soon.
What do you mean it's bad? We're going to, the other day, we've got 2 more games against Bayern Munich. Do you think we're going to get anything out of it? Do you think we're going to get anything out of Bayern Munich? What do you mean, what's the point of entering the competition? What's the point of trying to get 3rd or 4th all the time if we're not going to try this competition?